Good morning, my fellow Canadians, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody who watches this. Trudeau and the sex scandal. Anybody who's been following the news knows that there is a tremendous weight of evidence and very strong likelihood that Trudeau, when he was a teacher at that prestigious academy on the West Coast, might have had a sexually inappropriate relationship with a 17-year-old student. Now, first off, I'd like to make something clear. Given his age and his lack of maturity, I mean, students who have remarked on him as a teacher said that he was more like them, more childlike than professorial. So he related better to the students probably than he did to the faculty because he was immature and childish. Plus, take a look. You've got, I think he was 26 years old, a good-looking young man with the Trudeau name, lots of money. I could see quite realistically how a young girl, even a student, could be attracted to someone like that. I really can. And especially given the fact that even then, children, well, not children, but teenage girls were developing physically faster. They were more sexually precocious than they were in my generation. They were more knowledgeable, more worldly. They're still kids, don't get me wrong. But I can semi understand how something like this could occur. So the issue to me is not so much the fact that he, let's say, whether she seduced him, whether he seduced her, pointing fingers and blame. No. It's not so much the fact that he had this relationship. Oh, let me digress. What leads me to think that there's more than a grain of truth to this story? And this is sort of like old attitudes I'm going to talk about. You impugn a man's word or smear his reputation. In my generation, my time, you called a man a thief, call him a liar, call him a coward. You'd better be prepared to get into a fight. And I mean a serious fight. You don't impugn a man's reputation. You don't smear him without cause. If he was truly innocent, what I would have seen, that even the hint of this was out, I would have seen outrage, righteous outrage, and vociferous denials that this ever happened. I would have seen, and maybe, like I said, that's me, I'd have been damned angry, and I'd have been out there and vocal about the fact that it was a goddamn lie and a dirty little smear campaign. The fact that it's being so quietly, the media is so quiet about it. Well, of course, he's bought the mainstream media. We won't go there again. The fact that he's being so quiet, and this is all so quietly, it's all sort of under the surface, that there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of legs to this story, and it's all being kept quiet. The rumors of hush money being paid to the student involved, and the fact that he is absolutely, and the party is absolutely silent on this issue. What is bothering me the most is the fact that if the tables were turned, if this was either Scheer or a major conservative candidate who'd been touched by a scandal like this, the mainstream media would be on that story like a bunch of rabid wolverines trying to determine. And you would have seen innuendo, and you know the innuendo, the cute little things you do in the press. And even as we speak, there exists a strong possibility that the story is indeed factual, but we are investigating. You know, the smear. They know if you throw enough shit at a wall, some of it's going to stick, right? So this is what's bugging the hell out of me, the hypocrisy. Not that it's a shock, liberal hypocrisy and dirty pool from the Liberals with this election. Not that it's a shock, but it's just a true demonstration of the utter sleaze of the current mainstream media. The Liberals want, and I've said this before, They will do anything to win this election. There is nothing too base, nothing too low, nothing too sleazy or underhanded or unethical that they will not do if they think it will win them an election. There is no, they've proven beyond any shadow of a doubt, they have absolutely not even a nodding acquaintance with ethics, with morality, and with Canadian values. I mean, this has been clearly demonstrated. I'm not going to beat that one to death. Watch my other videos. I saw a Facebook post, and I could be corrected on this. I'm pretty sure what was done was illegal. A guy was, now he never said who he voted for, but what he said was when he went to hand in his ballot at the advance polls, that the representative from Elections Canada smeared their thumb over his choice and smeared it all the way down all the boxes. So that ballot would then be counted as invalid, right? Because there is no clearly defined pick. And he says, guy did it with his ballot, and everybody who voted like him, he saw the individual, I can't say it was a guy or girl, doing the same thing, smearing the ballot, so it was unreadable, and therefore would go into the whatever they call that pile, junk pile, I'll call it, okay, the non-vote pile. But first off, what were they doing opening it? And secondly, what were they doing even touching it? Open it, see the box is checked, put it in the box. I told him, contact Elections Canada. Second question I had, where the hell was the scrutineer? And third, and I'm not 100% certain on this, I think that was an indictable offense. I think if you call the cops, I believe interfering with an election, a free election, I believe it is a criminal charge. Again, now I'm not 100% certain of this. I hope to be working as a scrutineer at the next election, but we'll see how this shapes up. The other thing I saw, and this was clear, someone with their cell phone camera caught, and whether it was Liberal or NDP or who, we don't know, pulling up lawn signs, conservative lawn signs, and throwing them in the back of their hatchback. That, to me, again, interfering with an election, that should be a chargeable offense. And I believe it is. So this is the kind of things not only the Liberals, but their supporters are prepared to do to hang on to power. If this is the kind of government you think is acceptable, if you are so out of touch with ethics and values that you could justify any of this behavior, then yes, indeed, vote Liberal, vote NDP, because you're not a Canadian. You're definitely nobody that I would call a Canadian or I would welcome as a Canadian. So there's my rant for the morning. Thank you and have a good day and a happy Thanksgiving to all.